Listen, Carter, I know we are late. It's our calling card at this point. I hit the button. It didn't go. All right. Yell at me, crucify me, whatever you want to do.
He started the stream and Matthias goes, why isn't it going? Why isn't it going? Why? Anyway, it's the verbal. You just got to verbally abuse it until
we're verbally abusing our StreamYard, and it is now working. So welcome to the Nightcap. I'm Matthias Schwarzkopf. With me is Levi Stevenson and special guest, or maybe recurring guest. Who knows? Jackson Pence is with us. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
Drinking beer.
How's everybody feel? What's the vibes? My vibes are at all-time high right now.
I bet they are.
All-time high. Oh, well, because the Bears won a football game. That's right. Yeah.
Bears did something good.
Chris, what are we drinking? I am drinking a Potosi Cave Ale from Potosi, Wisconsin, over deep in the bowels of Southwest Wisconsin.
I'm not drinking beer after this weekend, so I'm a recovering alcoholic. Some might say.
I've got water.
Yeah, you got water.
Yeah.
That's how you know. That's how you separate the big J journalists from the Levi's and Matthiases of the world.
My liver has to recover a little bit here.
Oh, that's right. You were crushing like 30 beers this weekend.
Saturday we had some. Mm-hmm.
You ever had there's one it's just called Good Ass Beer. Have you ever had that?
I've heard of it.
Heard of it?
I've not.
Horrendous.
It sounds horrendous. It's kind of like
a war crime.
They probably still sell, but I think you could get it in Minnesota. It's just like the all white can and it's just a beer. That was it. Awful. The worst stuff ever. Probably came from Wisconsin because Wisconsin sucks. The whole state.
I like Wisconsin. Wisconsin has no rules.
I am a garage beer kind of guy. I got the protector of the cold ones back there. Yep.
Why'd you just point to your head?
It's my fridge.
Oh, you pointed at your fridge. I was like, protector of the cold ones.
Protector of the cold ones, my guy.
Okay, so I have a take about Spotted Cow.
Oh, I do too.
In that, Spotted Cow is not bad beer. It is fine. It is just fine. So we're losing sound. The hell's happening here?
Aiden, fix it.
Hello?
I can hear you.
You can hear?
I can hear you.
I can hear
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
What if this is just an elaborate prank by the chat? They're all like, fuck, we can't. Honestly, though, that would be a really funny prank for the chat to pull, is if they couldn't hear us, if they actually could hear us, but then everyone got in on it and told us that they couldn't hear us.
Sounds just fine.
All right. Anyways. So Spotted Cow is fine. It's just fine. I think people inflate it because it is for me, it's easy to get, but for people that are not in immediate Eastern Iowa, it is difficult to acquire because they don't sell it outside of Wisconsin. It's kind of the same thing. It's a little bit the same thing as Yuengling. Because Yuengling was only an East Coast thing for a long time, so it was like, oh, it's exclusive. But Yuengling is I like Yuengling a lot better than I like Spotted Cow. So Yuengling's legit good, but Spotted Cow it's okay.
Extremely overrated.
It's overrated. I don't know.
Agreed. Yep.
Jackson, are you a beer drinker?
I like Yuengling. I hear it's coming to Iowa.
Yuengling is coming to Iowa. I don't know when, but I've heard that it is making its way over.
Coincidentally, Yuengling was announced coming to Iowa after Matt Campbell bolted for Penn State.
To be honest, though, if we have to trade bad special teams for Yuengling, I mean, if I have you're telling me that I can acquire Yuengling and also not muff 4 punts a game?
I'm taking that.
I mean, listen. That's would you take that deal? Damn good deal.
Damn good deal.
Damn good deal. That's where I'm at with it. I feel like we won the trade on that one.
Striped cows are even more rare.
Striped cows. All right. What are we talking about today, Matthias?
Well, you told me and alerted me that we were talking about some transfers. And since we have our portal transfer man here, we might as well. Where are we starting at?
Jackson Pence has been hot on the trail of the transfers this whole cycle. Just been in the weeds, watching huddle tape, just covering this whole thing down to the nitty gritty.
Well, here, I'm gonna go. Let's do this. Gun to your head, favorite transfer right now. Go.
Oh my goodness, that's a tough one.
He's waffling. He's waffling.
I'm gonna. I mean, it's such a cop out answer, but I think it's Owls, Braden Owls. He's just.
I'm with you. I'm with you. It's got to be Braden Owls.
He's gonna come right in and be a day one starter at safety. So I think that's gonna be your favorite guy. And 5 interceptions last year is really enticing. I mean, he comes in, plays at Toledo. Ross Watson, really good defense last year. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, I believe
PFF had Toledo graded out as a top 5 secondary in the country last year.
Yeah,
like
they were really
good. Yeah.
But I think people don't understand. It's like, I would say it's going to technically only has one defensive coordinator, but when you put Bobbitt, Rogers, and Watson, all 3 of them together, that's 3 defensive coordinators that they have on staff next year.
Well, and Watson was the co-DC at Toledo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's terrific if you're Iowa State. And like, the reason why I think Owls is so good is like, he comes in, like he plays the style of defense that they want to play. Like I don't know if he would fit in the Campbell 3-3-5 defense just because it's not technically, I don't know if he's like a downhill type player.
I think you'd play him as one of your deep safeties. Like I don't think you would play him as your star, as that star, but you could play him as a deep safety. I think because a lot of times in that back end you'd have sometimes Jamison Patton would play that star, but a lot of times Jamison Patton was one of the deep safeties. So or like when Jeremiah Cooper played safety, he was a deep safety. Like that's where Braden Owls would play.
Yeah, and when I talked to him, he said I'll either play free or I'll play, strong safety, whatever one
of the deep safeties.
He said he doesn't. He said it'll be either one. So it's the cop out answer, Matthias. I think it's easily Braden Owls to be my favorite transfer.
Okay,
so far. And he's the most high profile, probably
after Braden Owls.
I'll
do you have like a guy that you watch the guy on tape and you're like, I kind of really like this guy.
I think it's the Tulane transfer, Omari Hayes.
Hell yeah.
I think he's going to be a stud. I mean, just because you saw what Washington State's offense was, and it'll look different because you got Tyler Roll coming in from the Detroit Lions and all that. But he is very similar, in my opinion, to what a Jameson Williams is for the Lions. Like he's not the tallest guy, but he's super quick and he's a downfield type guy. Perfect for what Roll wants to do. Other than Owls, I think Omari Hayes is probably my favorite transfer that they've gotten so far. And then obviously the lineman, I am literally, I can't, I did not think that they were going to go out and get these high profile guys from the SEC. Messiah King was getting heavily recruited by Oklahoma. These are guys that are going to start wherever they were going to go. That's just awesome recruiting wins to get in their first year in the transfer portal.
Messiah King is just your new Jalen Travis. Just plug and play, instant, drop him in. He's a 3rd round or better pick at left tackle. Boom. Or they could have actually even stuck him at right tackle and put was it Jake Taylor, the Oklahoma transfer, and put him at left tackle. Yep. I mean, you've got guys coming in. Pretty much your entire starting 5 on the offensive line is going to be guys that came from Power 5 programs or are G5 guys coming up that are probably draft picks.
Yeah, other than Cade Meyer, the Colorado, he's D2, but Colorado School of Mines is in the championship for D2 every year.
They're a good D2 program. Do you think he'll be one of the starters though?
I think he'll be close to center. He'll probably play center.
He'll be in the mix, I think.
Yeah, I don't know about. It's hard to tell. I think,
right, yeah.
Obviously Taylor and you have Messiah King for sure, and I think that the Hunter kid from Auburn will come in and I think guard right away too.
Yeah, I think you get Taylor and King on the outside. Hunter. There was another guard that I had in my head.
Brocious.
Yeah. Did you see that guy wears the fucking half cage with the bar?
Dude, that guy just screams center to me just based on that. Just put him at center. Just the face mask has to transfer with. That's the only caveat here.
They can get a different face mask.
No, that has to come.
That's where Michigan State
repaint it.
He's also got the Levi flow in the back too. He's got the hair too. He's excited. I talked to him. He's really excited to be a Cyclone too. So that's awesome.
Well, if any way to get out of East Lansing, you know what I'm saying?
Was he the one? I've been to East Lansing before. It's okay.
when you have to say like it's okay, like there's something else wrong.
Listen, I said what I said. Like it's okay.
It's fine.
The stadium was actually pretty fun. It was a pretty fun game. I don't remember who they played, but anyways, no, he was the one that had a really good quote, I think, about why he was coming out. I think you got it from in your interview with him.
Yeah, I think it was something about being super physical. Like all they talk about in these meetings they have with these transfers is like, we're going to be the most physical team on team schedule next year, and I love that.
We're going to be the best team that we can become.
Yeah, where we heard that before, Matthias.
Find the best versions of yourself.
Fuck me. That's got 7-5 Liberty Bowl written all over it. Fuck me. All right. Well,
I'd take that next year. I would take that.
Yeah, okay,
7-5.
Specifically next year, 7-5 in a Liberty Bowl, even if it's playing Memphis in Memphis, is still a big.
East Lansing is the spotted cow of college towns.
That's a very enlightened niche take that I really appreciate.
That was good. I like it.
That's a good one. East Lansing is the spotted cow of college towns.
Yeah. I mean, if you really look at like here, I'm gonna put my Bears
I will say
real quick.
Madison, Wisconsin is the Yingling of college towns. It's everyone thinks it's good, and it's as good as you think it is.
So if you really look at like the team building of, let's just go back to Dan Campbell really quick, because that's kind of like the format of this whole thing, right? So like when Dan Campbell took over the Lions, it was building the trenches, getting the skill players after that, where like I think Iowa State has better, from the transfer portal in college terms, has gotten better skill players in the wide receiver position than like what Dan Campbell like really started with the Lions. But the way the Lions like took over and became what they are now is building through the trenches and building that offensive line. Then you're adding in, an elite play caller that in Ben Johnson, adding the skill players on the outside, and really just like you look at all the Lions wide receivers today, and like you can go into like Ben Johnson now at the Bears, like none of them are like extremely huge. There's no like Brandon Marshall, Calvin Johnson type wide receivers on those teams. They're just guys that can get open into the spaces that they require. They're not running like 9 routes. It's a lot of underneath stuff, getting players in space and going. So, and guys that are wide receivers, like the Dan Campbell thing is like no block, no rock. So if these guys can't block either on the outside, they're not going to be getting the ball in the passing game. So that's going to be another thing to watch on these wide receivers, that they're physical enough on the outside to block. But, the way this offense really works, if they run exactly or try to get close to what the Lions and the Bears are running, is it's run the ball first, work the passing game off play action, and go from there. So if the offensive line can't run block, then the whole thing's gonna be scrapped, which sounds kind of stupid and oxymoron, but it's really true, because you could see it like just night and day. Like when the Lions have struggled this year, they couldn't run the ball. When the Bears have struggled this year, they couldn't run the ball, and everything just works exactly off that. So that's why you look at these dudes that are up front on this offensive line. They're massive. They're physical. Now they all haven't played a ton of games at the Division I level, but hopefully their size and physicality just takes over and just bleeds into it and go there. And that's why like people are like worried right now today, like at the running back position. Like there's been a couple guys, the kid from Oklahoma State and the kid we just got from Bowling Green today. None of them like
Oregon State.
Oregon State. Sorry. The kid from Bowling Green is really fast, but I don't think it's anything to worry, because if the offensive line works the way it's supposed to, I don't care who you could put me back there running back, and the offense is probably going to work. I'm just saying, I'm shifty, dude.
Yeah,
I got it.
I'm shifty too. Yeah,
I got that twitch.
Actually, what we were talking about before, favorite transfers though. I was gonna bring up Cameron Petaway. Actually, let's have Jackson introduce. We'll go through the transfers that we have gotten over the last week. So if you remember, like last Monday's show when we talked about it, we were basically waiting on Braden Alls. And since then they've still piled in a whole bunch of transfers. Maybe start with the kicker, Adlai Lounsbury.
Yeah, so you just kind of want to break down each player? Is that
we can go just kind of go through it and talk about it a little bit.
I'll just say I I don't know a ton about Adelaide Lounsbury other than I do radio for high school football games in the fall for Albia High School, and I saw him kick in a playoff game pregame. That kid is really good. He's kicking from midfield field goals, and I think he was primarily a punter. They recruited him as a punter, but this guy's a really good kicker too. So, I mean,
Yeah, Van Meter.
for what I saw in high school, like he's a good kicker. So it's a great backup to perhaps the best kicker in college football next year in Kyle Conradi.
Yeah.
Then we'll kind of go to some of the secondary players that Washington State got. So Brody Miller, 6'1", 178-pound kid from Washington State, played safety, didn't get a whole lot of snaps this year. He's coming in with high upside, 3-star recruit in high school. But then we kind of get to the masses that, Matthias is talking about, and Broseus from Michigan State, 6'4", 308 pounds, played in a lot of games this season for Michigan State. Didn't start a whole lot. But the thing I like about all of these linemen is, 2 years of eligibility remaining, 2 years, 3 years of eligibility. Like these guys, they're getting recruited and they have an opportunity to come and play right away and, stay, hopefully. I mean, it's a different world out there, but these guys have multiple years of eligibility, and you kind of think of, what are they building towards? It's like, well, they're going to have opportunity to start for 3 years, 2 years, however long it takes. And if I'm going to be honest, I would love to be at practice this spring and fall, because watching the O-line practice is going to be probably the most intriguing thing about this football team next year, because this makes or breaks the team, in my opinion, because they put all their chips into this offensive line. And so far, like what they have gotten has just succeeded my expectations by a whole lot.
There's a couple of them on there too. The linemen that like you said, and I think linemen once they're in a system, I don't feel as though offensive linemen are quite as quick to up and leave. I think generally speaking, those guys tend to like to stay in their system, stay with the group they know, because they know that, having to jump into a new group, get new chemistry with a new group of guys and a new system and all that it sets them back a little bit. Whereas even just staying in the same system, even if it's a little bit lower program, I mean, obviously if there's a big payday coming for them, then that's one thing.
Yeah.
But when they have the opportunity to sit in a system and really be at their best with an offensive line that's working really well, because it's one of the few, if maybe the only, position group on the entire team where when the whole group is working, that's like that individual lineman just looks better because the whole group is working. So
I think.
Do you think that's real? That comment? What do you think about that comment?
Ceiling
right
higher or lower than last?
It's hard to really predict, right? Because like the only one that like really jumps at you in terms of like extreme starting experience would be Taylor from Oklahoma. Like obviously he was like a guy that was going to start all last year. Injuries derailed the season for him, but that's the only guy that really like there's like an extreme amount of tape out there that you can like really like hinge anything on. In terms of like intangibles and like measurements and all that stuff, like this is probably one of the, like you put all these guys together, it's probably one of the bigger offensive lines that we've had in years, but there's just not a whole lot of things that you can go out there on these guys, in terms of watching them and seeing what they could do in the Division I football game to really answer that. So I don't know if you can really like answer that question until maybe after the Iowa game, maybe after the 3-4 games in the year, because we don't know. Like we have all these guys that can play interior, we have all these guys that can play on the exterior, but we don't know what we can assume. But come August 31st, like all these names might be in totally different positions, and it's hard to even guess because there's just not a whole lot. And a big thing on offensive line too is it's one thing to have the skill set to play your individual position, but it's also having the continuity up front, playing all 5 guys, same position all year long, playing together, because communication is so key between the guard and center, guard and tackle, that you just don't know what that's going to look like. So you really can't just answer like, yeah, everything's there. Like the pieces are there. It's just what they're going to look like out on the field. So you can't really answer that. And it's almost unfair to answer that question.
And saying the hard part too is that those guys, like last year's offensive line was really good. And
I thought they were too.
They were very good. And they'd have a position coach for a few years. They'd all been in the room for a few years. They had chemistry. Like as much as it's like, oh, the staff's going, I'm going to say fuck them or whatever on the way out. But it's, I mean, in the reality, Ryan Clanton was doing a good job developing that room and getting it into the right shape. So like, it's hard to hold them to that standard now because you could make an argument that was maybe the most consistent position group on the entire team throughout most of that year. And so it's hard to hold them that same standard when it's a bunch of new guys from a bunch of different programs coming in, right at once, basically.
It's the hardest position groups to piece together to the entire football team, I think, because there's 5 guys playing their technique and putting them all together.
Jackson, can you grow a mustache?
I can't do it.
Me neither, bud.
I can't do it, Austin.
Just do the dumb Andrew Luck neck beard like I got going. That's the key.
Yeah, sorry, Matthias. I was laughing at that comment the whole time.
No, it's fine. There's probably you're gonna see a lot of stupid comments.
It's gonna be a lot of bullshit on this one.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the hardest thing to put together because it's just 5 different guys all communicating at different one time. Because it's like defensive line, everybody has like their technique, their gaps that they need to hit, whether it's a twist stunt, whatever it is. Like that stuff's easier to communicate and get coached up. Where these 5 guys need to be gelling. If the center's not taking off on his block and getting out there, it's going to be totally difficult for the rest of the other 4 guys to go. So I wouldn't go into August, the first game in August and be like, oh God, these guys fucking suck because they got their asses kicked against whoever we're playing first game.
Semo.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, we're going to have to be patient with it because there's a lot of different pieces putting together.
I want to keep moving. I want to talk about Bobby Terrell. Big player coming from Washington State. Very good player.
I mean, probably, he's talking to Jake Brin, probably the best outside of Owls, best defensive player they've been able to get. Led the Cougars in sacks last year, 7 with 7, 12 tackles for loss. And he's going to be one of those guys where you just throw him on the edge and say, go get this. If you watch the tape, when they played Ole Miss this year, he was awesome in that game. I think he had 2 or 3 tackles for loss. He was really good in that game against college football playoff semifinal team. Like,
yeah,
they are a really good team. And I'll just say, I think
he led the Pac-12 in sacks last year, right?
Yeah, the 2 schools that are there. Yeah,
that's why I did. I gave him I couldn't see it because it's not wide enough, but I gave him the finger quotes. But he did he had a really nice season last year.
And I think I think Michigan was trying to get in on him too at the end.
Yeah.
I think there were some schools trying to go after him, and I think the relationship was there with Rogers, and he just said, well, if I can thrive in the offense at Washington State, I mean, there's no way I can't do this at Iowa State too. And he's probably a day 1 starter too. I mean, that's another thing you got to throw in there.
Big time, yeah.
And I think the defensive line is really intriguing too for next year. I mean, you have the core Iowa State guys that are coming back. I mean, Zamir Hawk's probably going to be a day 1 starter for Iowa State. There's 2
Jace Gilbert.
Potentially Jace Gilbert was really good this year. Hawk and Terrell potentially could be all Big 12 players, maybe not first or second team, but they're hanging around the honorable mention third team. I mean, those are good players. So they have a ton. And I like how they built this team out too. They built it from, the line out. And sometimes that's what you just have to do when you're restarting from scratch too. So they've done a really good job of just, finding the guys that fit their system. And it's just been so far. And I wish Sainer was here because I would say, nobody cared about spring ball when he played because there was nobody cared because we knew who the players were. We knew what they could do.
Nothing. It didn't matter. We know who the starting 11 was for 4 years.
I'm really hoping that they have a spring game this year because it would probably be one of the most anticipated and interesting spring games or spring practices that Iowa State's probably ever had.
We got used to not having them because we know Matt Campbell hated doing them. So who knows? Maybe Jimmy Rogers is a spring ball guy, and if it is, we're going to be there with bells on.
He has to be a spring ball guy this year. Has to be.
Yeah, he probably does.
But it would behoove him to have one too, because if he's got a bunch of shiny new toys to show off, if he's feeling like they're a good enough team to throw out there and just show them to the fans or whatever, go out and let Moberly or Jalen Rayner fucking zip a 50-yard bomb down there to Dom Overby or something like that. Go out and show off your new toys. I think. I think it would behoove Jimmy Rogers to have a spring ball and just get people excited again because they've had by any measure I would have had a very, very good transfer class. So I think
if you had to grade it, what would you guys give it? I would give it a solid B+ to A-, one of those 2.
I'd probably be in there. I mean, would it have been nice to grab a running back with a little bit more production? Yeah, but
Still
those
time.
are going to be also more expensive. Like they clearly put their money into the offensive and defensive lines, which is great. I'm perfectly happy to like if Aiden Flores RB1 going into next season, is anybody really complaining too much?
He's a good player.
He's a good player. Or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you still got River Peppers too.
Yeah, whenever he's healthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing too. Yeah, you got to figure out what his health
you
looks like for next year.
You got all that speed and Cameron Petaway. You've got a lot of fun things you can do with that running back room. And if the offensive line is good, they can make a young but athletic running back look really good because they've got all that blocking.
If the offensive line is what we think it can be, like the rest of it's going to take care of it. It's going to make the quarterback's life easier, can make the running back's life easier. I really just don't think it's going to matter who they stick at running back if this offensive line works the way they on paper put it together and what they went out there and got. Like if everything falls in places and these guys that are, like a Jake Taylor stays healthy, all that stuff, and all that goes right there, go for it.
The answer to this for Petaway or Flora at return is both. Both. You put them both out. You put them both back there. Yeah. Doesn't matter which one. Both of them are hell to kick off to.
Have you seen Petaway's? I don't know what's in the MAC. Like I understand that, but have you seen his highlights? Like,
it's
his
crazy.
tape on kick return is crazy. Like opening drive.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
When they get the ball to start the game, like he's getting the ball to midfield on every kick return. Like he is that good at return.
He led the NCAA in average kick return.
Dudes.
He runs away from dudes. He averaged 33 yards of return last year, which is nuts. Because I went back because he doesn't have a lot of in-game highlights besides kick returns. So like I went back and watched some of his high school tape, and I was like, oh man, this kid's fast. It was like, but he's high school fast. I don't know. High school fast and college fast are two different things. Sometimes they are the same thing, but sometimes they're not. And then you watch his kick returns and stuff like that at Bowling Green, and it's holy shit. Like this kid can fly.
Yeah, and how's a team that's going to be trying to find their way going to win a bunch of football games? Is really good line play and really good field position.
Yeah. And that's Jaden Jackson is still at Iowa State, and he was friends with one of the incoming players too. I'm trying to remember. Was it he was friends with a corner, I think, right? I'm trying to remember now.
Sorrell, maybe.
Maybe I'm trying to remember. He's friends with one of the guys that came in, or maybe Owls. I don't remember. I could just be making shit up. I just thought I saw it someplace. But I think the other interesting. There's a lot of interesting names in this whole thing, but one of the interesting names I thought that came out this past week was grabbing Zane Flores from Oklahoma State. Now, if you ask Oklahoma State fans, they were like, get this guy the guy to Stillwater.
Yeah.
And they wanted no part of him. And listen, he didn't have like a great season last year, but Oklahoma State was an abomination. Now towards the end, their defense started to play better, but that offense was bad from gun to gun. Like it was terrible. So I am personally in the camp that like, let's get him in a half organized offense with a little bit of talent around him and let him, and see what he can do. I mean, he may never come and start a game for Iowa State, but like, I think he's a guy worth taking a flyer on and say like, hey, if he works out, I mean, Mike Gundy wanted him for all of Mike Gundy's faults. The guy scored points. So, I don't know. Where are you at with him?
I mean, one, I don't, like you said, I think you look at this as a,
This guy has been all over me, man.
I didn't mean to interrupt what you were saying. This guy says, I know Matthias has serious.
This guy's all over me.
Serious belly buttonlet, man. That's
last couple of nights, man. He's just been all out there.
Jackson was trying to deliver this very educated take on St. Flores, and I just fucking lost. I'm sorry, Jackson.
That's really good. I like that.
What do we tell you? This thing was going to go off the rails.
On the regular? Does this happen on the regular?
Yes. When it's us. It's not you. It's us.
That's such a good insult too. It's incredible. Anyways, continue.
Hey, you know what,
Jackson?
Austin? Fuck you, dude. All right, fuck you. But I love you at the same time. Thanks for watching.
Anyways, yeah. So, do I look like Zane Flores? Is that a thing? I need to look this up. Anyways, continue, Jackson. Talking about Zane Flores.
So I don't know if there's a connection with Zane Flores at all. I have no idea about that. But what I like about his pickup is obviously you have Rayner and Moberly as you're probably your 1 and 2 guys right there. We don't know who's going to be one. I would assume it would be Rayner, but I don't know.
I don't think you take Rayner if you're not starting him.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. But what he comes in, he's played a lot of Big 12 football games. Like he instantly comes in and makes that quarterback room better. I mean, he comes in, he brings competition, which that room needs competition. And maybe he can learn stuff from Rayner and he can teach Rayner some things. Like I don't know what the connection or anything there, but it can't hurt to have multiple QBs because one goes down, then you got Moberly or Zane Flores. We don't know who their 1, 2, 3 guys going to be. It's nice to have options. And I mean, I'm okay with having Zane Flores in there, like maybe not for an extended time, but like if we needed him to go in there and play a quarter, if Rayner goes down for an injury or something, like I'm okay with throwing him in there. And I'm saying with Moberly, like I think he could be a starting quarterback in the Big 12 somewhere.
Yeah. Chad,
and maybe it's Iowa State.
Did we take a swing at Smolik? So Jackson Smolik, backup quarterback from Penn State. I think he's from Van Meter.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he transferred out. I guess my understanding of the situation is that he had some interest in coming to Iowa State, but the current staff was not in on it. Yep. That's the way I understood it.
I think, that's what I've heard too.
So, and I don't know why the staff, maybe they just don't feel like it fit the system. It is what, there was lots of guys in the program that they said that they kind of said, hey, you don't really fit what we're trying to do here type of thing. And then, they were already in the system. So it's kind of like, if he's not even already on the program and they're not sure about the fit, then, why take the risk on it? Especially when, if you feel like Zane Flores was the better schematic fit or is a better skill fit for what you're trying to do, then it makes sense to grab Zane Flores, especially when you know that you've got your guy for next year, probably in Jalen Rayner, and you've got at least a competitor for next year, or at worst, you've got your guy for 27 in Moberly. So you take a flyer on one of them, and that one you just pick with a better fit, I think.
This one, this obviously hinges on the last part of his.
So how does Todd Tisch says, how does Carson Welch fit Rogers' defensive style? Can he stay healthy for once?
Obviously, if he stays healthy, like Carson Welch fits like pretty much any system at linebacker just because of the way he has range, getting sideline to sideline, speed, all that stuff when he's fully healthy. So like it really, like you could play him in a 4-3, you could play him in a Tampa 2, 3-3-5, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like he can play any linebacker position in any type of defense just because of the attributes that he possesses when he's fully healthy. So, we're gonna be 4-2-5. So, you got 2 linebackers. Obviously, you got help of the extra defensive backs, however they play them and things like that. But if you're playing just base 4-2-5, no safeties down, like your 2 linebackers are going to have to cover a lot of extra area. So he fits it right then and there.
Like you talk about the Washington State guy, like the young kid, the Sullivan Schmelin, like that dude is a really good player. Like he might come in and start right away too.
How did you say his last name?
Is it Schmelin?
I think it's Schlimgen.
Schlimgen? I don't know how to say that. I'm not John Walters. Slim Jim.
Doesn't have a Slim Jim. Snap into a Schlimgen. Oh.
But he's a good player.
I think Seth Johnson, the Montana State corner, I think that's the guy that is friends with Jaden Jackson. I could be wrong.
Okay. Also, was Penn State was heavily after him as well.
Oklahoma State as well. Yep.
Yeah.
And a little short, 5'10", but played for a Montana State team that was really good last year.
They won the
FCS
title.
champion. Yeah, FCS champions. Like played significant snaps for them. Like he's a good player. Any last thoughts, boys? I gotta get going to let him.
Yeah, he's got to go record. You got to go record. What was it?
Let him cook.
Let him cook. That's right. I don't know why I forgot that one, but yeah, we got to go record. Let him cook with Dylan Kuhn and Nigel Dyson. Always a good basketball show for that. So appreciate you stopping in, Jackson.
Probably gonna be some really nerdy basketball talk over there. There's something like
they're actually they're
stuff.
talking serious basketball.
They're going in. They're going into some action and some. What do we got? Big West or not Big West?
Shit out there.
Whack. Yeah.
Big Sky.
I know
Big
the
Sky.
I know the Iowa Hawkeyes are on the docket. So
Oh boy.
Fuck them.
yeah. Hey, big game tomorrow night in Lawrence. I'm pumped. I don't know about you guys. I'm pumped for tomorrow night.
Oh,
Should
yeah.
be a doozy.
gonna be a good one.
We're really pumped for that post game show at 10:20 p.m.
Speaking of which, we have confirmation that Brent Bloom is going to be joining us tomorrow. He actually even said on the CW pod or on CW and Blooms today. So
Who's on that? Is it me and is it you? Are you
it's like
hopping on?
fucking everybody. It's like you, me. I think you, me, Keeney, and Matt Nelson.
Boy.
I think, and Bloom.
Oh boy. That's gonna get
No
off the
Tom
rails.
Turner and his beautiful mustache. No Tom
I
Turner.
don't
and his
think
beautiful
Tom's on the
mustache.
docket.
No,
for
he needed
while.
a breather. He needed to hit the bench for a little while.
Tom's still stuck in his library prison.
Well, he's actually he's in very sad mode right now with
the Packers.
Packers.
He's still reeling.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So you can hold one over him, Matthias.
Oh, he's been telling me to shut up all day.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Jackson.
All right. See you, boys. Thanks
Later.
for having me on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anytime.
What
All right. Yeah. So
there was something dumb I was about to say that was also funny at the same time, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, I believe you.
The Texans are currently beating the Steelers 7-6, heading almost into halftime.
Any of our guys have a
Xavier Hutchinson has one catch for 16 yards. Jalen Noel has one target. Mr. Christian Kirk is pulling out the out of the bag here of youth.
Most of what you say is dumb.
Fuck you, Carter.
Most of what you say is dumb, Matthias, so it works out.
Fuck you, Carter, but I love you.
Oh, I love you guys. This is fantastic.
When I tell you guys to fuck off, it means I love you. So,
Yeah, it's a term. It's a phrase of endearment.
yeah. Thanks for watching.
A couple of these guys, though, I would look at. We actually finally, I know, up until like today, one of the things that we had like wondered about is what the hell they were doing at tight end because they hadn't brought anybody in. We saw Cooper Alexander finally left like last week or something like that.
Yeah,
they did bring in two tight ends in the last couple of days here.
They had Fortenberry from.
Well, they got Fortenberry last week, but like that was like the only guy on the roster until recently. Christian Greenlaw from Hampton, 6'5" tight end, 14 catches for 122 yards and a touchdown last
Still
season.
better than you at golf. Not many. Everybody's better than me at golf, man.
And then Jordan Viborni. He's a tight end from Oklahoma State, 6'5", 240. He redshirted last year, but he had a really nice offer list out of high school, had lots of Power 5 offers. Was a number 14 tight end in his class for the class 2025. So I overall, though, but if you get Viborni and the other guy that we committed last week, Fortenberry, and Tyler Fortenberry, you get those two guys. Those can be your tight end 1 and 2, unless depending on where you feel like Keaton Roscop feels it, where he fits in.
I would bet he's going to line up at fullback a lot.
Roscop?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's your H-back fullback in this offense. I think I would say so.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the Lions and the Bears, right? 2 tight ends a lot, 13 personnel, using tight ends at fullback, a lot of I formation stuff, but I mean, if you just really just Google Ben Johnson Lions and Bears stuff, you'll just watch that and you'll realize what they're gonna do pretty easy. Now it's weird saying that though they're gonna do exactly what the Lions and Bears do, but and that's hard to do. But if it's similar to that, you would assume the run
it'll be in the same family tree as that.
Yeah. And that's the hard thing, guessing what this offense is you could say it's going to be like that, but going from NFL to college, it won't exactly be like that. And it's weird to say that because we just don't know exactly, but we can assume. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think the idea is they want to go to a more pro style offense that is equipped to go on some of those long time sucking methodical drives. I mean, we're not talking Army triple option 12-minute drive. We're not talking that, but they're ideally, I think they're going to try to reduce possessions in the game, really take the air out of the ball and make it a game where the defense doesn't have to be on the field all the time, and the defense can just sit there and do their job, get a stop or two, and let that be the difference between, let that be the difference in the game, where you take care of the ball, you limit penalties, and you just keep the ball moving. Even if it doesn't end up with the touchdown every time, you're just getting points all the time. You just keep moving things, and you keep eating time off the clock, and that's how you win football games, basically. Because I do think they got some nice players that will eventually develop into some really explosive, players. But right now, you got a lot of raw athletes, and you've got a brand new team with a brand new scheme. So it's not really you can't really go into it with the expectation that this is going to be like a super high flying, explosive vertical offense or anything like that. Like,
what?
I don't think we're going to get like I don't think we're going to get a deep shot in the first couple plays of the game.
There's something that I've like come to appreciate, and Levi, I know you've tweeted it a lot, like you're jealous of watching Indiana, and I think a lot of us are extremely jealous of watching Indiana.
Jealous of Indiana.
But like what I appreciate about Kurt Signetti is like there's no and I get the whole like analytical movement of stuff of football and things like that, but like the way he coaches and talks about football, like there's not a breath of analytics. It's literally old school fundamentals. Like what he's like the other day, him and Dan Lanning were at the podium. Like they had the two coaches side by side talking about their two things. So they're like, the reporter asked, give us two things that you need to win this game. So Dan Lanning's like, oh, control the football and yada, yada, yada. So Signetti gets up there and he's like, we're going to control the line of scrimmage. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. He like rambled off like 7 things. Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
And then before the game started against Oklahoma or Oregon, he literally rattled off the same things. Going into halftime, rattled off the same things that they're up by like 30 points. And it was like, dude, this guy doesn't give a fuck about analytics. He's like, I'm just going to beat you up front. We're going to control the football. We're going to take the football away. We're going to hit explosive plays. That's it. Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he's got all those written down on a whiteboard. That's
12,
practice.
12-yard runs, 10-yard passes. That was the other thing. 12-yard runs, 10-yard passes. And it was just like, yes, this is me. I love this. I want that kind of guy. Like that's literally what Iowa State has to do next year. Control the line of scrimmage. Don't give up the football. Take away the football. And if you give up a bunch of yards in between that, who cares? But take it away. Bend, don't break. Just do all those things. Like the rest will take care of itself at the end of the year.
Yeah. And I think part of the reason I really like how they did the transfer portal too and spending the money on the offensive defensive lines, partially because it's like it's just kind of common football sense that you take care of your offense. Like the good football teams are built from the inside lines out. I mean, like that's basic football that's common sense. But the other part of this too is that if you look at all that in the context of how NIL works now and where money has to go, there's been a lot of these. If you look at the programs that have turned around, that have been successful in taking in huge transfer portal classes and then being good the next year, like who's the programs that have done well with it? Like obviously Indiana inside out, their offensive line is spectacular. Then you've got
and who'd have thought too, like last year, like looking at Indiana's transfer portal class, like seeing Mendoza, like would you have said like, oh yeah, Mendoza, great quarterback?
I wouldn't have been like, oh, that guy's gonna win a Heisman.
Yeah, no, and like I mean, I think now this year, like they got Hoover for next year, but like and everybody knows
he's a real
he's immensely talented, but like he's already going into a system that's already preaching inside out, and now but Indiana's gained more money so they could spend on that kind of stuff. But
they've got a guy. He Josh Hoover is at his base more talented than Fernando Mendoza. He's just like he's a different caliber of player than Indiana would have previously had access to.
Yeah, but Mendoza has done a complete 180 in like his footwork,
he's fantastic.
His pocket presence, like everything, like he was decent at Cal. Like I mean, you as decent as you could be at Cal, but like a lot of this extra like stuff that he's put into his game like has developed at his time in the last 12 months at Indiana. So what are they gonna do with Hoover next? I don't, geez, you can only assume, but I mean, like, does we see Iowa fans tweeting and Iowa State fans all the time about Rayner, like, oh, he's the 68th best quarterback in
That's nothing.
Who cares? Like,
it doesn't matter.
If the offensive line is good and the system, what
Mark
we assume is
was like a top 5 quarterback transfer last year. And guess what he did? Not a damn fucking
I'm going to
thing.
look at, I want to see.
You know what? I love this question. Is it Mendoza or is it the system for why he's so successful?
Both.
The answer is both. Any good offensive, there used to be this, well, there still is this perception that if a quarterback isn't like exceptionally physically gifted, but he's still doing well, and they have a good offensive coordinator, that it's the old system QB thing. Brock Purdy obviously gets it a ton. The thing you got to remember though is that any offensive coordinator worth a shit that's any reasonably bit competent at his job fits the offense around the players they have. Now, over time, you have the system you want to run and you recruit to that system. But if you're going into just like in basketball, if you want to run Hoy ball, but you've got first-year TJ Otzelberger roster, that's going to go real shitty. That's going to go really bad for you because that roster is not equipped to play Fred Hoiberg's offense. Now, over time, you could recruit to that and fit that offense better, but you don't just jam fit your scheme into a roster just as it is.
I probably gotta give Mendoza a little bit of extra credit because 247 had him ranked as the number 4 transfer quarterback. But either way, like
either way, yeah. But I mean, part of it's always like Mendoza doesn't look the part of like a superstar quarterback. He doesn't have like a ridiculous arm or anything like. He's not like, but he's athletic. He's accurate. He's smart. He doesn't make mistakes.
The thing is, like, you watch him, like, okay, like if you go back and watch like against Oregon the other night, that first drive or second drive, like when he's hitting like the 10-yard out routes and he's throwing it from the other hash and it's on time with zip on the ball, like that's like he's got the arm talent, he's got the brain, and he's got like, he was throwing that first drive, throwing back shoulder fades to dudes, and he was 1-2 pop, and it wasn't like, it's not like a guy that was sitting there waiting for plays to develop. It's on time, it's in rhythm, and he's not letting the rush in the pocket get to him while he's making these throws. So like, and Signetti has said it too about him at Cal, like his feet were happy, like his pocket presence wasn't the greatest, and they did a lot of work to fix that for him before they took a snap this year. So, I mean, he's done a lot of work to be better at the position this year with Mendoza. And God forbid, like he's going to go to the Raiders, and we don't know who the Raiders head coach is going to be, their offensive coordinator is going to be now.
Might be
but
Nate Scheelhaas.
It could. But, if you get a good offensive coach with him to kind of help him take those next steps in the NFL, like I think it's going to work out because the kid is extremely smart. He's not a dummy, and that's half the battle playing quarterback at the NFL or the next level, or even in college for that matter. So, yes, it is the system, the product of being really good and having a good, good coordinators, good head coach at Indiana, but it's also him as well, taking that next step in his developmental phase to be better at the position. So,
well, and kind of where the larger point I was making is that like Indiana did it from the inside out, and Washington State last year was more competitive than the record says. They built it from the inside out. But then you look at the ones that have failed, like Colorado, and I mean, honestly, most of them. Florida State keeps failing over and over. It's easy to fall when you're trying to build a team from transfers. It's easy to fall in the trap of chasing skill players and quarterbacks first. But the problem is, like, I mean, which is great if you land some star receiver and you land a star quarterback or whatever. That's great. That's a great way to sell fans. It's a great way to sell tickets and to keep NIL going and all that. It's a good way to do that. But the problem is that none of that shit works if you don't have an offensive line to make that all go. So what I appreciate is that this staff, they didn't screw around with chasing star skill players that they knew they'd have to overpay for, because this is an overinflated right now. This is a heavily overinflated NIL transfer market. So you're going to pay a lot more for skill position guys than maybe you were going to want to. And I think that's why we saw a lot of them left too, is like, we're going to be willing to pay you this much because this is how it fits within our structure and what we want to pay for certain positions. And if you don't want this number, then that's fine. But then we can't, then we don't have a spot for you type of thing.
Line play is going to win you a lot of football games because it can overcorrect a lot of issues that you have elsewhere.
Yeah.
Running back, wide receiver, whatever. And I think the system.
This is exactly right. Skill positions are sexy portal picks without a good offensive line. You're flaxed half the time and off. That's exactly right.
The system predicates itself on getting people in the right spots and putting in the right positions to do certain things, and a lot of scheming, a lot of moving players around pre-snap, things like that. So it's going to do a lot of things, without the big name talent there. So if the offensive line works, this whole team's going to work. So it'll be fun to see. So
Will Smith says, I'm so confused. Rayner is a superior athlete. Rayner is a very good athlete. He's been extremely productive in his career. The two knocks on him are, one, is not super tall. He's like 5'11", 6 foot. He's, maybe even just a touch shorter than Brock Purdy was. But the other thing is he, early in his career especially, but just in general, he has been interception prone. That's like the entire knock against Jalen Rayner. If he threw half as many interceptions, he would be a very high end quarterback prospect because of his athleticism, his experience, and all that. So
Flamin' Meatball says, what are your guys' thoughts on Moberly? And I think in a perfect world for me is Rayner takes every snap this year, barring injury. And the perfect world is that he's ready to go to start his junior year, redshirt junior year.
Jack says, what is the best platform to watch you guys on? Where all these comments? So a lot of these comments are coming from YouTube. I mean, so we currently, right now, we are live on the Cyclone Fanatic Facebook page, the Cyclone Fanatic YouTube page, the After Dark Twitch page, and then both the Cyclone Fanatic and After Dark Twitter accounts. So you can watch us anywhere. A lot of these comments are coming from YouTube, though. You can see if you look.
We are currently working to go live on OnlyFans.
If you look right below on the bottom right-hand corner of their picture, like right there, there's the YouTube logo there. And then on yours, it has the X logo right there. So that's in general, you can watch us anywhere you want. But a lot of these comments are coming from the YouTube live chat. So, but as far as Moberly, to me, if you thought that Moberly was going to start this year, you probably don't bring in Jalen Rayner. You bring in a quarterback that's athletic, that's experienced, that has 1 year of eligibility. You only bring that person in. You only bring in a quarterback of Jalen Rayner's caliber if you're planning on starting him. And I don't know that necessarily that he's locked into starting, but at minimum, he's gonna be given the benefit of a doubt in a quarterback battle type of thing. So that's show us NASCAR music. Matthias will show up as NASCAR.
We got one case of NASCAR back there. We got in progress nerd case in the middle, and then the outside case is we got a Bears helmet back there. We got a bunch of other stuff. So we're work in progress here in the man cave.
Yeah. So I think, like you said, I agree with you that the ideal situation is Rayner starts this year, plays every snap, and then going into next year, it's Moberly, unless they somehow land some maybe you have Hudson Curlock. Maybe he's ready to go after his redshirt year. But at minimum, Moberly is
add a quarterback every year through high school recruiting, possibly the transfer portal, no matter what, just in case. But at minimum, you've got a plan for your next 3 years of quarterbacks. Like, as long as Moberly doesn't leave, you've got Rayner, Moberly at worst. That's your floor for the quarterback position is Rayner, Moberly. So, which I feel like is a very acceptable. You're good with that. If that's your quarterback situation for the next 3 years. Now, if Hudson Curlock or Zane Flores or whoever, if either of those guys jump up and pass Moberly because they're that good, then great. That benefits the team. You kind of feel bad for Moberly, but in 27 it should be Moberly's job to lose. So I think he, first and foremost, I think Connor Moberly deserves all the credit in the world for coming back when he absolutely could have left. Yep.
I give him all the credit in the world for that. So
Okay, I'm going to hijack this because we're rushing in here at the 9 o'clock hour. We're going to do a little bit of a break here because I'm adding a new segment to this podcast, and then we're going to transfer into some basketball talk because there is a big basketball game tomorrow night. So we'll get into a little bit of that. But we're going to add in, I'm on the prowl every day, but I'm adding in Matthias's stupid video of the week. We don't have an intro for this.
We don't have an intro for that. Okay, yeah. So
no. Yep. Matthias's stupid video of the week. Here we go. 47 seconds long. Let's get into it, and then we're gonna transition.
I have not seen this either yet. So
then we're gonna transition into some Cyclone basketball.
Instant goose is a technique where you goose the first duck instead of going into a duck rhythm. The best time to use this technique is when the player before you does a lot of ducks. It's the change in rhythm that throws them off. Goose.
Pay close attention to the way I act once I become it. I act tired and disengaged. Then, I strike.
Goose! Dude, you can't do that! Actually, as of right now, the instant goose is still technically tournament legal. He's got a knife! At this point, your opponent will likely try to stab you. What you want to do here is block, disarm, knee to the groin. Mastering these duck-duck-goose techniques is essential if you ever want to be taken.
That's Matthias's stupid video of the week.
The instant goose. It's a
good move.
It's a good one. It's a good move.
Good move. All right. We'll try to increase that in production value later. But patent pending on Matthias's stupid video of the week.
Am I crazy to say this will be the first matchup in AP poll history in which Iowa State is ranked and Kansas is not? I don't know if it's the first one ever,
feels
but
like
it's the first one in a very long time if it's not. At minimum, this has got to be the first time that Iowa State has played at Fog Allen Fieldhouse as a top 5 team while Kansas is unranked. Absolutely has to be the last one. Duck Duck Greg Duck can go Duck Duck go fuck itself. No, it's Duck Duck Goose. Sorry, Minnesota.
Your Iowa State second-ranked Iowa State Cyclones will be heading to Fog Allen Fieldhouse tomorrow night to take on the unranked receiving votes Kansas Wildcats. Whatever. Kansas Jayhawks. A lot of interesting things here. Kansas fans are unpleased with their situation right now, obviously, as they should be, because that's not what they're typically accustomed to in the basketball world. And Kansas fans are certainly waiting for what the hell is his fucking name? Darren Peterson to play a full game. So he's still their leading scorer. He's played in 7 games of their 16, but when he does play, it's whether it's a 20 minutes, 13 minutes, whatever it may be. He's averaging like 19 points in the first half and 16 points in the first half and 9 points in the second half of the games that he's played this season. Obviously, a guy that's going to be a top 5 NBA lottery pick going into the offseason.
Yeah.
We just don't know what his minutes are going to be going into tomorrow night. And that's really, I think,
maybe Kansas doesn't know because that whole situation's been messed up the whole year. I mean, it's like he's played some games, hasn't. That was the West Virginia game. And they got to crunch time and he just checked himself out. And that was just what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, which it seems very, very not Bill Self-like to me, but
regardless of what his minutes are, you're probably gonna have your work cut out for them. Obviously, Iowa State's offensive, if you look at the analytics and things like that, as we go back into analytics, as I just said, hey, I appreciate not using analytics, but Iowa State's offense in the terms of the analytical game has taken a little bit of a dip. As we know, but I think that's a little bit of the uptick in the presence of teams and familiarity of what the Iowa State Cyclones run. The people are used to it, so you're probably gonna see a little bit dip in that. They weren't going to score 100 points a game. That's just the reality of the situation. So, the key tomorrow night for me is, and we talked about it in the post game show after the Oklahoma State game on Saturday. It's coming out fast tomorrow night, and don't get behind in Fog Allen and have to rely on making a big comeback in this one, because while 9 points for this for the level of talent on this Iowa State team isn't really like a huge deficit in that building. It can be.
Yeah, well, and part of it, when you're playing at Kansas too, it's trying to prevent them from going on these big long runs where that can snowball really fast. I mean, just the same way they can snowball at Hilton. You don't want to get in a situation where you're up 8, but then all of a sudden you let Darren Peterson get a 3, then you turn it over, and then Badunga gets a putback dunk or something like that, and then all of a sudden the crowd explodes. They're only down 3, and now you can't hear yourself think on the other end of the floor. Yeah. So for Iowa State, it's going to be about controlling Kansas's runs a little bit, keeping the crowd out of it, which does involve getting a good start early, I think, because I think a lot of, at least over the last 15 years, I would say Iowa State has been Kansas's biggest rival or most competitive opponent for the last 15 years or so. So, this is a game that program absolutely, their fans get up for, and all that. So it's, this is one where Iowa State is clearly the better basketball team. They're clearly the more complete basketball team on both ends of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
When they're playing, if Iowa State plays the way they did at Purdue, which I don't know if they'll ever hit that peak again, but if they play, nearly as good as they did at Purdue, they'll probably win. They can win this game by 20.
Yep.
They're quite a bit better than Kansas is. And that's not to say that Kansas is a bad team. They're still a tournament team, but this is a really special Iowa State team when they're cooking. And, just controlling Kansas's runs, keep them at arm length the way you've done in other road games this season, where even if things aren't going super well, you can just kind of keep them out, use your defense to keep them at arm's length, get scoring in transition. Hopefully Blake Buchanan has a little bit of a bounce back game. He had a tough game against Oklahoma State. He had the Oklahoma State's 2 bigs down low, Fala and the European kid. I'm not,
Vucevic.
Yeah, Vucevic or something like that. He had a tough time against those 2. So, and was pretty inefficient around the rim. So if you can get a good bounce back game from Blake Buchanan, Milan keeps shooting. Hopefully, this is the only time I'm going to publicly criticize Joshua Jefferson, but he needs to cut down on the turnovers in the lane. Especially there's times where he gets a little too cute, does a little bit too much. On Saturday, we saw him try to do kind of a behind the back bounce pass, somebody on the low. If it worked, great. Cool. Excellent, cool play, goes on a highlight film for the Wooden Award. But in the end, it was a turnover because it was a dumb pass. So it's kind of one of the, it's just like kicking an onside kick in the second quarter. It's like, yeah, if it works,
why not?
If it works, great. You look like a genius. If not, you look like an absolute dumbass. And unfortunately, Josh Jefferson kind of looked like a dumbass after
Lon needs to hit them with the instant goose.
Listen, I think we need to make the instant goose bit a thing. I think we had to figure out exactly what constitutes an instant.
Look, Matthias's dumb video of the week is already catching on.
Yeah, I feel like we need to find a situation that makes sense to call it the instant goose.
Yeah, I mean, if also if Darren Peterson isn't on his A game or isn't really playing at all, Trey White is your next guy to stop on the Kansas team.
He can't shoot, so it's
and he's averaging 15 points a game, but he's in his last 2. You look at 18, then he had 22 against TCU in their overtime game, 14 against UCF. So he's in that 18 range for Big 12 games so far this season. So his shooting percentage from he's shooting 41%.
He's shooting 41%, but it's on a really low volume. He's only attempted
50% from the field.
Let's see, I guess he shot 62 threes. But he's not a guy that you're gonna he's not a guy that you're afraid of cooking you 6 of 10 on threes in a game. He just doesn't take a lot of threes. But I just, depending on what happens with Darren Peterson, he's obviously a really, really good player. And is capable of going off for 30 in a heartbeat. But
got to play to do it.
He's got to play. And when he's in the game, he's going to get a face full of Killian Toure. He's going to, Iowa State boasts, I think, bar none, no question about it, the best defensive backcourt in college basketball. I don't even know if it's really arguable.
And defend without fouling, Taman Lipsy.
If Killian Toure was not on this team, Iowa State would still have arguably the best, defensive, arguably the best two-way point guard in the country. And so you have the best on-ball defender in the country in Killian Toure, and you have maybe the best off-ball defending, at least as a guard, off-ball defender in the country in Taman Lipsy, who's incredibly good at picking off passes. And when you have a team that does not shoot it confidently from three like Kansas does, the way you beat Iowa State's defense is you get skip passes around that get everything just to really shorten it up is you take advantage of skip passes to the corner, something like that, and you knock down your outside shots, which forces Iowa State to rotate around differently, and then you can get backdoor passes and stuff like that. But when you can't confidently shoot it from outside on a regular basis, the way Kansas cannot do that, it makes it a lot more difficult. And if Darren Peterson has an off night, or Killian Toure is putting him in jail, then it's kind of for Kansas, your paths to victory essentially go through Iowa State turning the ball over a bunch on offense and not being able to hit any shots. But we've even seen them in past games that when they can't shoot, or they go on these long stretches of not scoring, that they still find a way to come back and win by 15. I think I mentioned something similar to this last week, but basically the way you can tell how good, the best teams are the ones that have the largest gap between fucking around and finding out. And right now, TJ Otzelberger's team has the largest gap between fucking around and finding out that we've ever seen from an Iowa State basketball team.
Yeah, how many of those games, like, we'll just use Baylor and Oklahoma State, like in the past, like those teams would have found, like our teams would have found a way to like lose those.
It would like in the Isaiah Brockington year, when you go through that long stretch and you let them hang around, that's when you get really nervous late, because at that point you're just hoping Brockington hits a step back mid range or something.
Yeah, I mean, we just like those Oklahoma State and Baylor just felt like a game. Like I didn't necessarily feel like they were going to lose them at any moment, but it just like they were doing the fuck around and finding out. But like the other teams weren't good enough to like get to that find out portion of it. But in previous years, these Iowa State teams would lose the game just based on not being able to do some things, and now it's just like they're good enough that they can be on an off night and win those games. So, and I guess that's, if you're a top 5 team, that's what you really want to see, because, I said Saturday, like you don't want to be playing your best basketball in January. You want to be playing your best basketball at the end of February into March, and then going into the tournaments and all that stuff. So while
it's also not a zero-sum thing, like just because you're playing good in January doesn't mean you can't play good in March.
Correct.
Like, that's the only issue I have with that like statement. That is out of
if you're playing your
statement.
best basketball in January, you want to be able to replicate it again later on in the year.
Yeah, you don't have to play your best basketball every single game for 4 months, but even if you are playing really good basketball in January, you just need to also be able to play good basketball in March.
Like we saw them play their best basketball in West Lafayette against Purdue. Like, can you replicate that again? Like, I'm sure they can. They probably will at some point and just beat the brakes off somebody that we weren't really expecting them to later on in the year. So like an Arizona or whatever it may be, who knows? But be able to replicate that type of performance again when it matters the most. And obviously right now it's, the important thing is winning games, increasing your net rating, increasing your seed line, or keeping it at the 1 line, which is where they're currently sitting at today. And then being able to do that while staying healthy, which we saw last year didn't happen because the maximize of that team deflated when 2 injuries happened. So doing all that into one big giant pot is a lot of work, but they're well on their way right now.
Well, and if you look at previous Otzelberger teams, like especially like last year and even the year before that and the year before that, they really started to get worn down into late February and into March, and then by the time you get to the tournament, it's like we're limping along. The whole team's duct taped together because they're so banged up, and partially because that's just kind of what they had to do to win games. They just had to beat the shit out of everybody and just hope that like they could just hang on and keep it together. This team does not have to do that. This team does not have to get into fistfights every night. They can just straight up outshoot you at times. I mean, right now you have like bar none the best shooter in college
They
basketball.
can bring a knife to a gunfight and still find a way to win.
Oh yeah, they can shoot you out of the building. They can win with bully ball. They can defend the fuck out of everything. They can turn you over. They can score in transition. They can do anything. Like there's not a part of the team that you look at. They're like, I don't know. Like I mean, the offense is down to like what 12th in the country or something like that now from where it was at second before or something. Whatever. I don't mean. They had a weird like couple weeks over break when they were kind of checked out for Christmas break and all that. But so Chris says I worry about fatigue because they play so hard and everything. And like I get that, and that was absolutely a thing for a few years there. But I really think the team is deep enough now where guys are getting. You don't have anybody that's playing over like 32 or 33 minutes a game. I mean, which 30 minutes a game is like enough, but.
Well, they have the ability to go 10 deep if they really wanted to. Like we've seen Otts use the 9 so far. Like Baylor, we used 9 guys. Like Mulder would be your 10th guy off the bench if you absolutely needed him, which I think he's kind of at this point, like not really in the rotation. But, I think and we still don't really know why Bateman only got 2 minutes after that 3-point foul that he had against Oklahoma State. But, his minutes aren't always going to be at 2, during the games.
And freshman too.
Right. And some of the bench guys, we had 2 minutes for Bateman. And another guy had 6. Like you're just going to keep increasing. You would assume some of those are going to increase as the season goes on, especially against, the lower end of the Big 12 teams that you can get these guys some rest as the season goes on. So while that may not happen tomorrow night, will it happen on Saturday at Cincinnati? I doubt it too, but the home games that that you can win by 25 plus, like that's going to be critical. Where in years past, we really couldn't do that because we just didn't have the guys that could, play at a high level and increase those margins of victory and things like that at any point in time. So I think you'll see some of that stuff kind of help play out because that should limit the fatigue going on into the Big 12 and the NCAA tournament. Because we just really haven't had those buttons to push.
Yeah. Well, and they've got really good depth in a few different places right now. Obviously, you got the guards coming off the bench and down low still. I mean, you've still got like Dom Plata has played pretty well.
His time's increasing too.
Yeah, his time's going up. I've been pretty impressed with Plata. I was not expecting him to be as effective at this point as he is.
He's still very raw, you could tell, but
he's still raw. But like I thought it would take him longer to just even be like half ready to play. I mean, like I think he would like if you had played JT Rock this year, like JT Rock stayed, you played him this year. Like I don't think he would be able to do what Plata is doing right now. Like I think Plata is just doing a really good job. He gets in there, he plays defense, he rebounds, and he just does his job. He's good at finishing in transition. And he'll continue to develop, but
he does enough defensively. While it's not like fluid as what you would want it to be, he'll get there. But like his screen pick and roll game has improved this season. Like that's where you've seen like his scoring output kind of increase a little bit, or the ability to score more has increased. The one thing we haven't seen yet, and we saw him do it when he was in the Euro game, was shoot from a little bit deeper from behind the arc every once in a while. I think he still has that in his arsenal, but I don't think TJ is asking him to do that within the scheme of the game. But
why would you?
No, you don't need to, because Buchanan doesn't do it at all either. Like, but he has that in there. Like, if that develops into something, that's another thing that he could add.
Yeah. If he adds a jumper, then great. Yeah.
But his screen game, and I was harping on this at the beginning of the year when he came in, because he would get like a legal screen after a legal screen after a legal screen. I was like, dude, what the heck?
Yeah.
But now it's like it's non-existent. Where like you saw on Saturday, he had 2 nice pick and rolls that he had and the offensive set was actually set up pretty good, because they had Jefferson in the corner, they had Plata set the screen up top. Jefferson moved up over the top where the pick happened, and played a screen down and went down low on the roll, and everything flowed with Jefferson, and then Plata was right there for an easy 2-hand dunk. So a lot of that stuff will be nice to have, and you keep Buchanan fresh. And then the big thing here for me is we saw it a little bit on Saturday. Taman was looking a little slower, just based on whatever his tight muscles are tight, whatever. Hopefully it's not another groin injury, but
It looks
You
to
know-
me like more of a hip, but
Yeah, and they're taking him out of the games a lot more than they did in previous years because they have that ability with the two, Torrey to run the offense. You
well, there was
trust
times where they even just had Jefferson just run point basically.
Yeah, and so you got a lot of things you could do to keep guys fresh. So I don't right now I don't think fatigue is as big of a worry as it was for me like going into the previous 2 seasons.
If there's any guys that are clearly getting winded or worn down, they can take them out. Like you can go 5 minutes without Josh Jefferson on the floor or without Taman Lipsy.
And they've
on the
had
floor.
to.
Yeah. You really like to not have both of them off the floor if you don't have to right now, just because Killian Touré is still really raw as a playmaker. Like he's a good passer. He can drive and score at the rim, but he's as far as just kind of initiating the offense and all that right now.
They went
young.
5 minutes at the end of the first half against Oklahoma State without both of them on the floor.
It was a little ugly, but
the game was so close. But like
they traded water, which I think is good enough. But
yeah, and like if you're doing that tomorrow night in that building, like just based on that building alone, like that's probably a recipe for disaster. So, stay out of foul trouble with Taman and Jefferson, and I think everything will be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as Taman can stay out of early foul trouble and not like have to do pick up 2 in the first 3 minutes and then have to sit out for 10 minutes or something
Yeah.
As long as they don't have to do that and they can keep Taman on the floor, I see Iowa State as having a much smoother path to victory here, just with how versatile they are. Like I think Kansas is going to have to get like Badunga is going to have to go for like 15 and 15. And, Darren Peterson's going to have to be able to score 15 or 20 on his own. Trey White's going to have to put in 15. I think they're really going to need all 3 of their big stars to
It's so weird. It's so weird going into a Kansas game and not being like terrified of the situation. Like for me, this is like I'm more scared of going to Houston right now than I would be going to Lawrence,
Well, we were talking about it yesterday, I think, too. It's like if you look at, or maybe it was after the post game, but I mean, right now, just as far as like if you go like minus 2 years this year plus 2 years, and you're just ranking programs in the Big 12, like Houston's 1. I think you could make an argument for Iowa State 2. You could also put Baylor at 2. You could put Texas Tech someplace in there. I don't think they're 2. Arizona's probably 2. BYU's in there. Like if you're looking at the top 5 programs in the Big 12, they said minus 2 years this year and plus 2 years. It's Houston, Iowa State, Arizona. I'm going to say Baylor and BYU. Those 5 programs have all been better than Kansas. Kansas right now is probably the 6th best program in the conference. Which is wild to say after they just
playing like it.
They just obliterated the conference for 15 years. They owned it. I mean, it was Kansas and everybody else. And now you're to the point now. I think because it turns out Kansas basketball and SEC football share a lot in common. In that they
when everybody can do the same rules that they are,
and everybody can get away with some bullshit. Then all of a sudden their bullshit doesn't seem so special. But then also too, it's like part of it was them being able to like stockpile 5-star recruits, and then they sit on the bench for a couple of years and then finally show up and they're seasoned vets in the system and all that, and they just show up and they're great. You don't have that luxury now.
Cyclone Game says, should we be concerned with Taman's groin strength holding up down the stretch? I think in general, like you should just be concerned about Taman anyways, just because of the way he plays, right? It's 100%
and his
all
injury
the time.
history too. Like,
Yeah,
when was the last time Taman stayed healthy for 2 months?
That dude just plays like a bowling ball on a basketball court, does not care. It's going to go 100% all the time. Yeah. Like, and if he breaks his orbital bone in his face, by God, he's going to fucking do it. So,
and the nice thing is you have Touré there to eat a lot of that extra physical load, where if he's starting to get gimpy or whatever, you can put Touré in, and you can have Touré take the best offensive player, the other team's best offensive player. You can have him, handle driving to the rim and all that. Like you can get Taman away from some of the physical wear and tear, in ways that you haven't been able to in previous seasons because you have Killian Touré.
Taman would die in that basketball jersey,
and Dominic Nelson, who have finally had played 5 or 6 good minutes.
Yeah, I
against
think
Oklahoma State.
that's another key. Like, and Otzelberger said it after the game on Saturday. Like, if his minutes increase and he starts to play within the system a lot more, like that's going to help out tremendously too. And then Bateman more minutes and things like that. So like the guard depth, I think will continue to progress here and help some of these guys out. Like I'm not necessarily worried about. I see a comment there about Jefferson maybe having less minutes. I'm not necessarily worried about him breaking down because we've seen him do this before and be just fine. And Buchanan and Plata, like they rotate them enough. Like I don't, unless they like actually have an injury that could keep them out of the game. Like I don't think those guys are going to break down. It's the for me, people breaking down, it's the Tamans of the world. And like if this team is going to go where we think they can go, which is a Final Four run, you need to try to keep Taman as healthy as possible for that run in March. So just continue to work with Dominic and Bateman to increase some minutes and help that workload, because the more that those guys could take off his plate and still be an effective basketball team without Taman on the floor, you're going to be that much better going into March.
Yeah. I'm not worried right now that like this team is going to be broken down at the end of February like last year's team was at the moment. Obviously, shit can happen, but this team is just a lot deeper. Their play style is not as prone to stacking up wear and tear throughout the season. So, I think they'll be fine. But
I think Bateman can be an aggressive scorer. I just don't think they're asking him to do that because they don't need him to. They're just a guy that go out there, be a pest on defense, and get open looks from three.
But make no mistake, at some point this season, they're going to need Bateman to go off for 10 or 15, to go off for 15 points or something like that. And he'll go off one game and get 12, 15 points because he's hot or something like that. And they're going to need him to do it. Like just like I think I'm a firm believer that at some point this season, Eric Mulder is going to have to step in, play 6-8 good minutes, eat some fouls, get a couple rebounds, knock down a couple free throws or whatever it is, and keep Iowa State in the game where maybe Josh Jefferson or Blake Buchanan is in foul trouble. Eric Mulder is going to have to step up at some point this game, at some point this season. I think Jamarian Bateman will have another game just like that where he's got to step up, knock down a few threes, and keep Iowa State back in the game or help spread a lead out. Let's see. Do we got any buy or sell? Jamarian Bateman will be the next Melvin Edgem. They're completely different players. I mean, Melvin Edgem was a classic like rebounding small forward that eventually developed a jump shot, but early on in his career, like you got to remember that early Melvin Edgem was basically Dustin Hogue. He was just in there to defend, rebound, score around the rim. That's what he did. Eventually, later in his career, he developed a three-point shot, but that was not him early on. So Jamarian Bateman, though, is right now a 3-and-D specialist. That's essentially what he is right now. And
thanks for the good vibes here, Jack, because the last time we played Kansas and we were ranked and they were not was 1988. We were ranked number 14 and we lost 82-72.
Fuck. So Jamarian Bateman, instead of the next Melvin Edgem, I would equate Jamarian Bateman to Matt Thomas. I think Jamarian Bateman and Matt Thomas is a very good comparison here. Both coming out of high school, regarded as maybe the best shooter in their high school class. Early on, they can hit some shots, but there's times where they just look young. And now Jamarian Bateman is a better defender now than Matt Thomas was at the beginning of his career, bar none. Now, by the end of his career, Matt Thomas became a very good defender, but Jamarian Bateman is a very solid defender right now that can get better. And I would put him on par shooting wise with Matt Thomas, maybe even just a touch ahead. So if you're looking for a development curve to follow for Jamarian Bateman, I think Matt Thomas is your guy. Let's see what we got. Oh, Jelani Hamilton is averaging 18 points per game. If that makes you feel old. Jelani Hamilton, man.
It's not old. I mean, he was just here, so not too. He's at Georgia State.
Man, I forgot that Jelani Hamilton existed, man.
Still a young pup. Probably will transfer out of Georgia State next year. I'm imagining so if he keeps that up.
I forgot he existed. So
yeah, he got medical redshirted there. His first year here and then transferred out after that.
Yeah, forgot about him. So overall, I guess was it right now Vegas has Iowa State as a 3.5 point favorite. Yeah. Which I think that feels right, but
which on neutral court basically a pick 'em.
I think that
no, that'd be
on a neutral court. I would say
it'd be 6.
Yeah, I would say it's a 6 or 7 point favorite. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm thinking the other way.
I think the only way Kansas wins this or keeps it close is if Iowa State hurts themselves and lets the crowd affect them. But I don't see that being a thing. Like Joshua Jefferson and Taylor Lipsey have played a million games in big arenas. Kylian Toure is played in arenas in Europe that are
and they've already
rowdy.
played at Purdue. So
they're not. It's nothing new. As in the immoral words of Jamal Tinsley, it's just another gym. So this is a game that if Iowa State plays their game, they don't beat themselves. They just kind of keep doing what they're doing. I think Iowa State can win this thing by 10 or 15 going away type of thing. Maybe it's 6 down the stretch with a couple minutes left, and then fouls take it up above 10 or something like that. But I think Iowa State is much more likely. I think Iowa State is more likely to win this by 15 or more than Kansas is to win the game.
I like it. What's the score prediction?
That's where I'm at with it. Kansas is not good offensively. They're decent, but not world beaters defensively. On the road, Iowa State's offense has been okay recently, but the defense is the defense. Give me a 78-59 final.
Whoa. Ken Palm has it as a 4-point win for Iowa State. I'm going to go 82-76.
I think you're getting 76 on.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yep. 78-59. Going with a 19-point win for Iowa State.
I mean, the Kansas defensively doesn't force a lot of turnovers. They also don't turn the ball over that much. They defend the 3 pretty well. They average to less than average defending the 2. They don't score the ball well inside the arc. They don't score the ball well outside the arc. So
they're not. They're only 50th in offensive in adjusted efficiency right now. Like they're not a good like that. Like 50th in adjusted efficiency is that's middle prom era offense for Iowa State. It's 50th ranked offense is not a good number.
But their analytics would tell you that they play defense well, but every Big 12 game they've given up 75 or more so far.
They're a good defensive team, but they're not great.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see. So,
because if you look, Kansas, importantly, the Kansas defense is really, really terrible at turning people over.
Get out of here, Matt.
346th in the country in turning people over on defense.
6-7.
I don't understand that.
Me either, but it's still fun to do.
Apparently the whole bid is it just makes people mad, which honestly I kind of respect as a troll job, but
my kids do it now.
Worth noting, Kansas is also a very poor offensive rebounding team. Not astonishingly poor. They're 247th in the country in offensive rebounding percentage. Offensively, they just don't do anything particularly well. They don't turn the ball over a lot, but they don't not turn the ball over. They're very mediocre from 3. They're mediocre at the line. They're mediocre about everything on offense. Meanwhile, Iowa State's defense is Iowa State's defense.
So with that said, Kansas will win 75 to.
Yeah, but that said, I was thinking Kansas wins by 5. So I just think this one. I think that Kansas will have a lot of difficulty keeping this one. I think the only path to victory for them is for Iowa State to essentially kind of give them the game via turnovers and just not making any shots. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. 19-point win for Iowa State in Allen Fieldhouse.
We are the 281st free throw shooting team, according to Ken.
We're not great at it. I think as part of it is because they've been like the guys that have been getting to the line are not the good free throw shooters. Like Dominic Nelson's gotten to the line a little bit. Like Blake Buchanan, who's like an okay shooter for an okay free throw shooter for a big man, but he's not. He's just still a big man. And, I don't know. I think Taman Lipsy and Joshua Jefferson are both still shooting a decent percentage there, and I think Milan's at like 89% or something. Let's see here. Joshua Jefferson is at 75%. Killian Turi's at 75%. Taman Lipsy's at 75%. Milan Momcilovic is at 89%. Blake Buchanan's only at 46%.
Ouch.
So I was thinking he was better than that, but apparently I'm just on drugs. So he's a bad free throw shooter. Damn, even at Virginia, he was a 50% free throw shooter. So
Christian Kirk is still pulling out the generational game for the Texans tonight.
Is he? Excellent. Captain Kirk Cox says, if Kansas scores no more than 59 points, I look forward to my invitation on CF After Dark. So
this is not a Casey's reaching cooler because Matthias goes to Quick Star, as all people should, because Casey sucks.
Quick Star is a lot better than Casey. I won't say Casey sucks, but compared to the other options available in the state, I think Quick Star is
Casey's has lost
pretty clear
their
head and
Iowa
shoulders.
grasp because they don't hire good people and they don't pay people very well.
No.
And the quality has gone down with the level of pay that they are paying their employees. And if you say otherwise, you are a idiot.
What I appreciate about the Quick Star Casey's Casey's feud is that now at this point, and now anytime that Casey's builds a new location, if it's doable, Quick Star builds a location immediately across the street from
because they broke the handshake agreement that the two corporations had, which corporations handshake.
Yeah. So are you like? Did I tell you about this? I can't remember if I did or not.
Yeah,
but,
Quick Star basically, and Casey said they wouldn't cross each other's line. Casey did it, and Quick Star said F
because
you.
basically, the line was essentially the Mississippi River and the Minnesota border. So basically, Quick Star was going to get anything north of Iowa and east of the Mississippi. With there's a couple locations in like Dubuque and stuff like that, but and then east of the Mississippi River over in Illinois and Wisconsin and all that. Casey's built a couple of them over like in Galena, Illinois, and they built a couple of them, even a little bit further into Illinois and then up into Minnesota a little bit. And Quick Star said, fuck you. And then they basically, so Quick Star just started like having a vendetta.
Doubling them up.
Yeah, they started. And so basically for a while there, anytime Casey's built a location, Quick Star almost immediately bought the plot across the road and built a Quick Star across there because Quick Star knows that their gas stations are head and shoulders better than Casey's. I see. Carres, is that a rat tail? No, this is just. I have the back of my hair is being insane.
And now Casey's has gone so much out of their way to stay in the state of Iowa because they know they are getting their butts kicked that they started going to Tennessee and Kentucky,
and they've gone down to Texas now too. There's Casey's down in Texas,
which seems like a bad model too because Buc-ee's.
Well, Buc-ee's is a little bit different deal. Like I've always considered Buc-ee's to be kind of at minimum, they're a truck stop. So they're more comparable to like a Love's or a Road Ranger or something like that. But Casey's, I think Casey's is panicking also because their rebrand sucked.
Yep, it did. That's where everything went wrong.
It's not a mullet. Fuck it.
Here we go.
So
it's just
the whole thing. This is just how it comes out of my head. It's just a big, curly, dumb mess. That's what it is. This is why I wear fucking hats. I just can't. It's all over the place. I can't do anything with it. So this is why I wear freaking hats.
Lasagna.
It's not even lasagna. It's not even lasagna. It's curly fries. I don't know if Jack Hilton has watched any of our previous nightcaps with what Dylan, like how Dylan described Avery Johnson, but yeah, that's exactly right. That's why I put my hat back on, especially because right now I've been wearing a hat, so like it looks like that. No, I don't have a dirt bike. I actually do own 2 motorcycles, but not dirt bikes.
Quick Stars are hard to get in and out of quickly. Why? Because you want to buy everything.
I would assume that's the implication there is that you just
great marketing.
You keep walking around and buying.
In
shit.
my opinion, All right. Well, the Texans just kicked a field goal to go up 10-6. We got 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Do we have anything else we want to plaster on this thing? But we will be back tomorrow night after the game. We assume
Do this weird like bring it on thing. Like
Bring
we
it.
will.
we will.
We will be back tomorrow.
I did. I got caught in my thought there, but we will be back tomorrow night after the Cycle Fanatic post game show. I'm guessing 10:20. We will not be going 2 hours in that one.
Yeah,
Probably
we're not going to 12:30 in the morning again. Probably.
Tom is not doing well after the Green Bay loss.
Tom's reeling.
Or are we calling it Green Bay loss or Green Bay collapse?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say I gave up in the third quarter for the Bears. I'm like, this is playoff football. Like, they've done it 6 times before then. I'm like, why did I give up? I don't know. But
Listen, my St. Louis Rams are undefeated since like 2016.
Yeah, since they left, they're undefeated and leaving. Losers.
That's true. Fuck Stan Kroenke.
Yeah, the Bears play the Rams on Saturday. The Rams have the number 1 offense in the NFL, and the Bears have like the worst defense in the NFL. So it should go great.
Yeah,
should go great.
Yes, I will have my Voice of College Football Network show tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
Tip off's at 8:00 tomorrow night on ESPN.
Big Joe says I liked falling asleep to y'all's voices. Got to go late again. There you go. So you go late into the postgame, and we get into some ASMR shit. They're like Joshua Jefferson and Taman Lipsy,
sexy sons of bitches.
They're just playing sexy basketball.
I'm glad we're not having anybody in the shower watching us again. That was
so. I see the Casey's Pizza thing. But if you go into a Quick Start, see the problem is you go into a Casey's, your options are, you get pizza, or sometimes they have like a weird chicken sandwich or a tenderloin or something like that, or they've got their little
weird tenderloins,
or they've got little popcorn and chicken, and which is like fine, but it's basically just a ranch dressing delivery device at that point, or you get one of their like weird like. You get one of their like turkey wraps that's been clearly wrapped and sitting in the cooler for like a week and a half.
10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are your options. Or you could go to Quick Star and you get like all their cold foods all cooked for like it's mostly pretty much like made that day basically.
Yep.
Like they're fresh cut. Like I really like, they have like a turkey Swiss and like cranberry sandwich. It's delicious. It's incredible. Their warmer has like 25 different items in it. Their fried chicken's good. Their burgers are good. They have patty melts. They got egg rolls that are good. Quesadillas. Egg rolls are great. The quesadillas are great. You have so many more options that Casey's Pizza doesn't even matter. It just doesn't matter because Quick Start has so many better options. Now, if you're like in a small town and Casey's is your only pizza joint, then sure. Like there's nothing like wrong with Quick Start with Casey's, but if you have the option between a Quick Start and a Casey's, like Quick Start is way better. Yeah. And Quick Start like has like groceries. Yeah.
Yeah. Good
deals on eggs, milk, and butter. You can buy like steaks there.
Helps when they own their own giant dairy in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just like, you're like, man, you're just going to have to like Casey's Pizza has to basically do all of the heavy lifting.
And that's a problem.
Yeah. Cause it's just like, it's fine pizza. It's not bad, but it's like, it's kind of whatever. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
if Quick Start were to sponsor this, I'm all in. Like, give me that.
I would love to have like the Quick Start post game show.
That'd rip.
Oh, be fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Yeah,
I would happily.
It'd be so much better than the Casey's post game show.
Casey's post game show would go for like a half an hour. We'd all be underpaid and we'd all have bad snacks. Like,
yeah.
And we'd all have like AI slop graphics and stuff. just a bunch of junk.
So if anybody who works for Quick Start is listening out there, we don't concern ourselves with sheep on this. Maverick, come on, get out of here.
I say we don't like. Come and Go never made its way like up into my neck of the woods. So like, I think the nearest Come and Go to me would have been, I want to say there was one in Cedar Rapids maybe, but if not, then Iowa City, I think, had a Come and Go. or Coralville. So like for me, the nearest come and go is like an hour and a half away. So I mean, I had no like allegiance to come and go / Maverick.
I mean, Sci-Fan, you're really not wrong. Come and Go would have been a great sponsor. Like if it's like, yeah, Come and Go. Fucking God.
Wonder, like, do they still own the trademark to that? Like, can we buy the? Can we just call this like? Can we just call it the Come and Go show?
They wouldn't let us buy Wide Right 90 Light. Do you think they're gonna let us buy Come and Go?
Well, Vox doesn't own Come and Go.
Yeah, but we don't have enough cash for that.
I don't know. Maybe. I thought you were going to sell your. I thought you were going to sell your body on Fiverr.
No, we're going OnlyFans for that. Fiverr is like you got to be real people for that.
I mean, does the OnlyFans not have real people?
I mean, they have real people, but I mean, I don't have a rack that could go on only. Well,
listen, don't sell yourself short.
I'm sure somebody would pay for my rack on OnlyFans.
I say you might be surprised and a little weirded out with how many people would buy that.
I retract my previous statement. I guess
like
you don't know.
If you made that account, you came back and it's like, I've got 1,000 subscribers and I don't know why.
And I don't know what I'm doing.
That would make you uncomfortable, wouldn't it? You're like, I don't know.
Took my shirt off once and here we are.
And suddenly we have our own professional recording studio.
We don't have to work again.
Yeah. We have this little like CF After Dark like community compound out in the woods someplace. It's great.
That's where we beat Jacob.
Yeah. That's where Tom is right now.
Yeah, Tom is at an undisclosed location. He's in witness protection.
I thought you were going to say he was going to. I thought you were going to say he was in Whitley, Iowa, and I was like, that's a weird place. Doesn't have a balcony you could do Shakespeare from.
I do have I have a deck.
Do I understand this comment?
I think don't you have a balcony you could do Shakespeare from?
Doesn't Matthias don't have a Texans defense? Did Texans defense do something?
Yeah, they just sacked Aaron Rodgers, fumble, ran it back for a touchdown.
Excellent.
Suck it, Aaron Rodgers.
You really still have beef with that guy, don't you?
I have comments I could say on live on. Well, I
mean, I can only imagine after he skull fucked you guys for 2 days.
There's a couple people I hate in this world, and Aaron Rodgers is one of them. But now, Caleb Williams owns the Packers.
Ooh, this is a ball knowers take right here. You go to Come and Go for the fountain pop and the crushed ice. That's a ball knowers take. That's why you go to Come and Go. This is the crushed ice. Absolutely. And that is one thing that Casey's and Quickstar have not quite figured out yet.
Is the left guard for the Pittsburgh Steelers who got put on his ass James Daniels, who also used to play for the University of Iowa?
Look
it up.
How that goes.
Yeah, let's see.
Please go for slushies.
Actually, I think James Daniels is no longer on.
I'm trying to think what even has slushies anymore.
Dolphins.
You know what has slushies? The
Quickstar.
Does Quickstar? Oh,
yeah, they do.
Do they? I know they have. Well, they have like smoothies, but do they have slushies?
Yep.
Do they?
You can make
smoothies.
You can make them in the smoothie machine too, and they have the icy ones.
Yeah. If not, the Hy-Vee gas stations usually have slushies.
Yep, they do.
I think the Hy-Vee gas stations are underappreciated. I think
they are underappreciated. We got one here in Spencer. I go to every.
Yeah, they've got pretty good food usually. Their quesadillas are good.
I stop and get my wife a coffee on the weekends at Starbucks, and then I go. Hy-Vee gas is right next to the Starbucks, so I just pop in there every Saturday.
Starbucks.
Yeah, it's in the Hy-Vee, but hey, still counts. I mean, I don't drink coffee, but she does. So
coffee is butt.
I hate coffee.
It's just butt tea. That's all it is.
You literally like, who needs coffee to wake up? You literally wake up and you breathe.
Man, I don't know when the last time I saw a Sinclair gas station was. It's been a minute.
Yeah, Sparky's in Northwest Iowa, Sinclair's.
Sparky's.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well,
yeah.
Should we wrap this bitch up and we'll be back again at literally 24 hours from now?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I hope this outro works, but we're going to do this. But yeah, guys, we'll be back tomorrow night after Chris Williams gets done with this post-game show, roughly around 10:20, 10:30. We'll probably go half hour, 45 minutes, depending on how we're all feeling and what the outcome of the game is. And then on Thursday, we have the basketball boys back once again. And then Saturday, post game show again after the Cincinnati game. I think that game tips off at 1:00 on Saturday.
I will not be at the post game on that because I will be probably in an escape room in Champaign, Illinois at the time.
Champaign, Illinois. Oh boy.
Yep.
So I think Tom might be on that one on Saturday for all you Tom lovers out there. So
yeah. Tom the Stash Turner might be back.
I will not be on that one either, but yeah. We got some new faces popping in here starting to go. So we'll be back tomorrow night. Me, Levi, Matt, Austin, Brett Bloom. We'll all be on after the game, talk for a little bit, and we'll keep this thing rolling. So everybody, thanks for popping on tonight. And this will be live on all of our podcast feeds after this as well. And we'll just keep this thing going. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow night.